It's one of the main news sources for not only K-State, but for the entire Manhattan community. With a circulation of 11,500, this is one of the largest student-ran papers in the Midwest. That's right, the K-State Collegian has been serving your community for more than 100 years. But who runs the paper?
We're learning at the same time, so people don't really understand that, like, we're gonna make mistakes. It's almost like a class for us, where if we have a bad newspaper, it's like turning in a bad research paper or something like that. We're gonna make mistakes and it's gonna happen. And while we do need the criticism to help keep us motivated to do a better job, like, sometimes it's really stressful to think that they don't understand that we're trying to balance everything ourselves, just like they are.
The paper consists of 10 desks which are headed by an editor. These student editors oversee all the materials that come from their desk, as well as provide daily content for the paper.
I just help the writer figure out how to make the story better. And I wish I had more time to do that because a lot of times the stories just need a little bit more work and then they would be amazing.
The Collegian has its own advertising staff who raises thousands of dollars to fund the operations of student publications.
Throughout the whole Collegian, we basically are the dollar bill makers that go out and sell not only to local businesses, but also to national and the campus. And basically we generate about $800,000 in sales a year.
Collegian staff members sometimes find themselves pressed for time. Editors and writers find the newsroom to be their second home because there are students who arrive early before classes and stay until late hours of the night.
I just kind of oversee the entire operation of getting all the stories finished, the pages designed, and then the pages copy edited, and once everything is completely finished with the layout and everything, then I get the pages sent to Selena.
I am looking over front page to check stories for any mistakes, check headlines for spelling, make sure they go with the story. I'm looking at photos to make sure they're ready, like toned right, the colors are right, making sure jumps are correct. Just checking the whole page pretty much. We are supposed to be done by 1:30. Tonight, I see us getting done here in about 15 minutes. Some nights it's a lot later, like 3:30. And then very, very occasionally we'll get out before 1:30.
One of the main goals for the Collegian this year is to become a more converged newsroom. The online staff has made it a point to utilize different multimedia tools.
Basically what my job entails is taking care of our website. I attend all budget meetings, and those are at 4:30 in the afternoon to figure out what's going to go in the paper, and it's important because we're trying to upgrade our website, so we're having multimedia on there, videos, podcasts, to see which stories have which multimedia. And in the evenings, I come in around midnight and I start getting the stories that have been passed through the chain. Basically, I'm the very last person to leave the newsroom every night.
I look over stories, I look over the entire newspaper, looking over design, headlines, cut lines, content, story mix, the whole 9 yards. After the paper is published every day. I do have some opportunities to read stories when they are handed to me before the paper is published, but I mostly do post-publication critiques. Student newspapers have all sorts of crises. They may range from people who feel like they have been discriminated against and that there's something in your paper that is stereotypical or insensitive. That's a crisis that we deal with sometimes. Sometimes it may be that papers have not been distributed to the places that they need to be distributed, and our readers who are expecting those papers to be on the newsstand aren't getting those papers. It can be the website is down. It can be writers who are angry because maybe editors changed some things in their stories too much and took the stories out of context. So there are all sorts of problems that arise on a daily basis. Something that I have to tell my editors, and I also have to tell the people who have a complaint against the Collegian, is the same principle that we like to teach students when it comes to interviewing. If you're going to interview somebody, the most important part of the interview is being able to listen. So certainly when it comes to crisis and it comes to complaints against the Collegian, what we need to do is listen. And sometimes you'll find that those people who have problems with the newspaper, they aren't necessarily looking for a solution. Sometimes they are. Most often, perhaps, they are looking for a solution. But sometimes they just want to know that you care to listen, care to hear, care to understand. So the first thing we want to do is listen. And then we also invite those people who have complaints against the Collegian to help us in the decision-making process about how we can better address their concerns and their needs.